Hi everyone, Rebecca, the Frugal Resinista here, and I am showing you guys a 3-foot by 4-foot canvas that I am currently working on. You are not seeing part 2 of a video. To be respectful of your time, I wanted to go ahead and get part of it done so that you guys could see how I saved money while creating a very large piece. So what I've done is I've gotten through different steps and different parts of this so that you can see the different steps of the process that I use to save money. I'm going to try to talk for a few minutes and then I will speed up my pour so you can see what I'm continuing to add. You'll get to see finally my paint pants too, my old pajamas that I spilled paint on, and now they're my paint pants and they're the most comfortable thing I have, so it's great. So I'm going to try to point some things out, but I'm also going to stick some still photos in so that you guys can see up close what I'm talking about, because it's going to be really hard to zoom in and zoom out. So what I did was very base layer. I just took old spray paint that I had. So I had some white and I had some blue, and it covered the whole canvas just so that I could put something down for everything else to adhere to. This piece is a commissioned piece for my best friend in the whole world, my mom, and she requested this to hang in her office. She has some specific colors, this maroon that has a little bit of purple to it, and then gold. And then she also asked if there could be a tiny bit of navy and green. And this was really fun because you've heard me in other videos say that sometimes I have trouble with choosing my colors and not, just relying on sticking with the same color scheme because I'm all about brown and teal. And so this has been a fun challenge. So layer 1 is spray paint. What I did was, if you've watched any acrylic pours on YouTube, I filled squirt bottles with a mix of Floetrol and acrylic paint and a little bit of water, just like people do for like cup pours and different things like that. But with the spray bottle, little tips, I drew a lot of my resin lines. Okay, so like lines down here, lines through here. Let's see, some of these lines over here, those are all done with a spray bottle. I'm sorry, a squirt bottle. So I started with that as my base layer. The stones are a mix of what I always use in my smaller videos. There is gold stone from Dollar General for $3 for a large pack. That's here and mixed in here. There is mirror glass in these mixtures as well, and that is from Michael's for $5.99 with a 40% off coupon. And then I did purchase some really pretty golden mica flakes from Stone Coat Countertops the last time I bought some resin. So I sprinkled some of those in some of these spots as well. The blue and the white down here, the tinier stones, those are just vase filler, again from Michael's. What I did after I painted was I put down the layer of stones, and then I went back and I poured nail polish all over the place. Now, please test your nail polish because you don't want to ruin a beautifully large piece of yours by doing nail polish that'll change color. So test it ahead. But I have various golds in here that just turn out really nice. These sparkly gold nail polish lines. And I had originally squirted some green. You can still see some here that I'm going to hide. And the green just didn't look right. It wasn't the right color of green to add to this. And then I thought, since she only wanted a little bit of green, I found a beautiful green sparkly nail polish, and I'm only going to use that as my green in here. I've got some different lines going all over the place. That's where I went next. Some of these paint colors, once you coat them with resin, they actually don't look like paint at all. It really does look like beautiful resin. So I poured this one here halfway for my top coat. So like this one already has the top coat, but not a lot of this has top coat. Right around here has top coat. For that, I use Stone Coat Countertops Art Coat. It takes longer to cure, but I have not found anything else that cures so perfectly smooth and beautifully. I've gotten that far with some of this. I stopped halfway so you could see the paint and nail polish versus the paint and nail polish coated in the Art Coat resin, and I'll give you a close-up of that. I'm going to add a lot of smaller sand. I'm going to use some actual sand and mix it with some some of this white glass and just to give some more texture to this. So some of the money-saving tips besides using paint first and nail polish, there's a lot of clear coat that needs to go on top because I want it to look beautiful and perfectly smooth, and I don't want to skimp on the look of this at all. But what you can do, even though you have to use a lot of top coat, is if you have enough sections where you purposely don't want top coat, where the surface is going to be rough, then obviously you'll have to use less top coat overall. So my next step, and I will start showing you guys all this now that I've got this in stages all done. I'm sorry, now that you've seen each stage, is that I'm going to finish this pour in fast forward so that you guys can see the rest of what I'm doing. I hope that will make it just a little bit easier for you to watch so it's not too long. What I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to mix up some quick coat that'll dry fast, and in these white sections I'm going to start adding some of my, well, a combination of two things actually. And some of them I'm going to add some of my sand mixed with the white glass. And then in a couple other spots, now that I've got these really low coats that are inside paint and the nail polish, I'm going to coat some of those with resin, and then I'm going to mix some of my enamel paint, gold, and pour that because that paint rises to the top. So we'll have a really low layer, medium layer, and then a layer of that gold that's just sitting on top. So it should look really beautiful. Couple notes, I had a whole plan to make some of this look like natural stone, and it was this corner and this corner. It didn't work, so I had to peel it all back off, and it actually took off paint, and it took off the coating that comes on the canvas when you buy it. So I'm going to have to repair that so that I don't have resin actually like leak through. So I'm going to get started. You guys won't get a lot of tutorial on the resin and stuff itself because I want to be respectful of your time. So off camera, I will mix resin and things, and then I'll just show you a sped up version. I'm going to let that sit, and then I'm going to have to tip this entire canvas to get the little extra bits of my white tiny glass that's like sand off before I do the next pour, because I've got it in some empty spots where I'll put clear. The gold is starting to rise to the top like I was hoping out of the part that I mixed the gold with the resin. So we'll let this stuff cure, we'll tip it off, and then I'll show you the next part. It's been a couple days since I put my sand and glossy stones and things on. I did add a little bit of gold into this one too, another sand, because I just thought it was neat. This project has been slow moving because I keep stepping back and trying to decide what I want to do next, and back and forth. We're back at it. These dark green nail polish colors that I had put in, I really like, and as I had said, I didn't want to do too much green, but I felt like there wasn't quite enough, so I went back to the store. This would be Dollar Tree, and these are $1 nail polishes. I used 2 whole nail polishes on this so far, so $2 in green. I bought 3 more, but I bought them just 1 shade lighter. They're still sparkly, but I thought that'll give me a little more green color because that's what my mom specifically said she wanted. So what I'm going to do is, where I had poured a bunch of clear around here, like in this area, there's not a very great definition between these 2 colors underneath my goldish clear color here. So I'm going to use the nail polish and just draw little lines that kind of split those up. So we're going to do it there. I'm going to come through in here and do a little more probably. I always kind of wait to see what it looks like once I get started. And then I'm going to just kind of outline this section and do some more green there. So as always, I'll speed this up. We'll get our nail polish going and then move on from there. Okay, I used 2.5 of that 3 bottles of nail polish. This is what I was going for. I had said that this part was done, but I didn't like that once I put these gold stones down, you could kind of see the paint underneath around the edges. So I'm really happy that I added that green because it ties in with the other green and everything and kind of just made that look nicer like I wanted it to look. The next thing I'm going to do is focus on all the rest of the colors that I need to cover with clear. So I had showed you how I had done half of this so you guys could see the difference. I'm going to finish doing the other half of that in clear. This little gold line that goes right here, I need to put clear over that. And then I need to put clear in this section. I'll do that last while the nail polish is still drying. And then over way on this side, this whole section with the burgundy and the gold, that needs to have clear. So clear is going to happen next. And then, oh, I guess in right here too, this maroon spot. And then I'm going to let all that cure. And tomorrow, my hope, really hope, is to finish this thing. Oh, one thing before I pour the clear, I am going to use some white paint like I did right here and just a little brush and paint it on, because what I want to do with how busy this is, for the rest of the color that I add, other than these two corners, I still haven't decided what to do with those corners, but other than that, I'm going to add just this white again, because there's so much going on here. I just want big chunks of white that aren't quite as busy as all the smaller spots. So I'm going to paint that section. I won't do that on camera because you don't need to see me paint, and then we'll move on with doing more resin. Just a quick note as I'm doing this, you guys, I don't know how well you can see what I'm doing, but I put down enough resin in each of these sections to push it where I want it to go so that it's right up against the line I want it at. And then from there, if I don't think it's thick enough, I'll drop more into the middle. But working with a little bit less of it to start with makes it easier to control where it's going, and then filling from the middle and dropping some in a little bit at a time works a lot better than trying to do a whole bunch of it at once. Okay, so I have some spots where things are spilling and leaking a little bit. Honestly, I'm not too concerned because I still have more like gold nail polish and stuff that I can put in here once this resin dries. So I'm going to leave it. This was quick coat, stone coats resin, so I don't have to leave it for too long, but I'm going to leave it and let all the white set. And then the clear that I'm going to use, I'll do more nail polish and I'm going to draw lines and finish this whole thing up. And then the clear that I will use to coat everything that's not totally coated yet will be Stone Coat Countertops Art Resin. I like the quick coat because it dries a lot faster, but I feel like there is nothing that beats the art resin in terms of how smooth and shiny it actually ends up being. So that is what we'll do. I'll wait for a while for this to cure, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, my white is dry, and what I'm going to do now is, sorry, I'm off camera grabbing these are my nail polishes. I am going to pick a few of these colors that I had already used. I'm going to re-pour like right in here where some of my gold got lost, and just a few other spots just to make it look more smooth. all of the empty nail polishes I just used. I had already thrown away 4 others, so there is a lot of nail polish on this, but it is very much less expensive than resin. I'm going to let the nail polish dry. Then when the nail polish is all dry, I'll go back and draw my lines with my acrylic paint pens. I think I am about at the end of this thing. I'm super excited. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me to watch this video. You can absolutely do a giant geode on a budget. Now I know that this probably isn't like the typical geode you guys are used to seeing with me. I didn't do like a big thing of stone and then make a circle around it. Specifically, my mom asked for a lot of horizontal lines and all of these colors specifically, so I did add my center kind of being way over here so that could happen. Off camera, I did a couple things. I went ahead and added bluestones here and added my bluestones there because I just don't want this video to get too long for you guys. The other thing I did was I was super unhappy with this section because I had poured both of these sand sections at the same time, but this one had white paint under it and this one had blue paint under it and it just looked dark. So I actually painted a whole layer of white acrylic paint over it and then poured a second layer. So now I'm very much more happy with it. Probably not the most frugal thing, but I don't think I would have ever been happy with this thing until that was finished. I'm holding this brush just to remind myself that when I get ready to pour my top coat, I tip the whole thing sideways and I use this, $1 cheap dry brush to totally wipe things down, especially if they've sat for a while like this one has, because the first things I poured I haven't messed with in a while. So I don't want any dust to be on this, and I didn't want any little bits of glass or sand or anything. So I use that. I am finally now switching from quick coat to the art coat from stone coat countertops, and the only thing tricky about that is with the quick coat, your part B is a lot thicker than part A. With art coat, it's the opposite. So it's not a big deal. You just have to be aware to remember that that's going to change. So you want to mix accordingly. But I need as much working time as I can get because I've never tried to cover with a top coat anything this size before. So I've kind of come up with a game plan in my brain, being that there are different sections of this that are split up by glass or sand or stone. I think I'm going to focus on each one of those sections at a time. So for example, this section here is in between stone. This section here is in between this stone and this sand and then down through here. So I'm going to kind of go up and around and pour that one. Then this section here, I'm going to haul from this line of stone to this line of stone. This is a super busy one too, which was what was requested, having all these colorful lines going back and forth. So some of you, that might not be totally your thing, but I love this. I probably always tend to add a little too much excitement to my paintings in terms of how busy they are, so this is right up my alley. We're going to speed it up one more time. I'm going to do the top coat in sections, and here we go.